right, hello everyone, and welcome to another Workshop Wednesday. My name is Jim Schultens, a service systems engineer here at Verify, and I'll be your host for today's workshop. Today, we're joined by Matt Sykes, another SE over at Verify, and he's going to talk to us about an enhancement coming out soon regarding computed ring time, which will be an additional field that will be useful for call scenarios that contain multiple call legs and utilize cradle-to-grave reporting. How are you doing today, Matt?
Doing well, Jim. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing just fine.
Good.
All right. So today we're going to start off with a quick overview of our company and what we do. Next, Matt will lead us into a live demo to show us how the computer rig time enhancement will improve the data in your reports. We'll pause for some Q&A and get some of your questions answered. During the demo, if you do have any questions, make sure to ask them in the Q&A panel in the bottom right of the screen. After Q&A, we'll reward one lucky attendee a $50 Amazon gift card. So make sure you hang around to see if you've won. All right, a quick overview of our company. Verify is the preferred analytics and management solution for Cisco collaboration. We provide industry-leading CDR, UCCX, and Cube analytics, customizable dashboards and widgets, remote phone control, and change management. But today we're going to focus on the new computed ring time for CDR and analytics. If you have any other questions on any of our other features, please feel free to chat me up in the Q&A panel on the bottom right side. All right, one more thing before we get things kicked off. For those of you looking for more hands-off Verify experience, we do offer a managed consulting service. This is a service that provides a dedicated Verify SE to do all the heavy lifting, giving you and your users a completely hands-off experience. Think of us as an extension of your organization. We'll provide upgrades, one-on-one training, report and dashboard building, or anything you need. Your dedicated Verify system engineer has you covered. The only thing you have to do is give us a call or send us an email. If you'd like additional information on our ECS service, feel free to reach out to your account manager, and they'd be happy to see if ECS is right for you. All right, Matt, I think we are ready to kick it over to you and lead us into the wild and do what you do best.
All right, let's
take
get
it away,
going.
Matt. Stop sharing. All over to you.
All right, come on, WebEx. All right, I am the presenter. There we go. Let's go with screen 2.
There you go.
Let me drag this ugly header out of the way. There we are. Okay, hello everyone and welcome. Matt Sykes with Verify here, and today, this week's workshop, we will be covering the approaching Verify 13.0 computed ring time new metric. You're seeing my screen right here. I am in the analytics history section here. Now, I wanted to kind of discuss, ring time and the new computed ring time and the differences between the two. Certainly, we have had ring time for some time, so we have had that for a while. However, we definitely know that, as Jim kind of mentioned a few moments ago, in complex kind of routing scenarios where there's a lot of redirects, forwards, transfers that are happening to certain call sequences in the call manager environment, the ring time actually gets compounded, unfortunately. And I'm going to kind of walk us through that. So what we've actually done is actually we're coding and producing a computed ring time that is going to be actually more not dynamic. It's going to be very specific to the cradle to grave legs for all of those daisy chain legs that are happening within a call sequence without compounding the ring time. So certainly we definitely know there are SLAs and certain KPIs for certain environments for their users to answer calls within 15 seconds, within 30 seconds, etc. So we definitely don't want the ring time to be inflated as it has been, unfortunately, for some time now within the cradle to grave legs, and we're going to get to that in a moment. Briefly, I just want to showcase to you how we actually derive ring time. Now, ring time is probably one of the only fields that we actually derive out of the Cisco CDR, and it's simplistically the difference between date-time origination and date-time connect, or in the absence of date-time connect, the difference between origination and termination. So that is a pretty simplistic way of looking at it, just looking at kind of this little equation here, if you will. we can look at this top leg here, 4:39 and 16 seconds is when it was presented to call manager. At 18 seconds, it was connected to somebody. So the difference there is going to be 2 seconds. Now, I do want to mention here this 13.0 EFT release that I'm running on right now. The logic for the computed ring time is kind of in an alpha state, let's say right now. The UI will certainly, I'm going to include and showcase the visual aspects of computed ring time. However, the logic for all of the crunching of the numbers on the back end is not finished yet in this build, but it will be in a matter of a couple of weeks. So normally within an environment on single leg or single phone call entities, let's say within the call manager CDR, the ring time and our new computer ring time, they're going to match. So for today's workshop examples, all my computer ring times are going to be 0 within the UI, except for a mocked up report that I have that I'll show you in a little bit. But once again, bear with me. This is an alpha version here, but definitely exciting logic coming down the pipeline here for us. So definitely, as I was mentioning, on direct dials or single leg calls that are coming into call manager, the ring time is going to be spot on. We're not removing ring time. We're not replacing it with ring time, with computer ring time, excuse me. It's in addition to. So I just kind of want everyone to be aware of the ring time metric as it sits right now, and what computer ring time is going to give us for the more complex styles of calls. Now, once again, for a lot of normal single leg traffic, the ring time and computer ring time are going to be the exact same. Okay, but there are a lot of examples, and we will revisit this in a moment. There are a lot of other examples where I have some cradle to grave records right here. Now, I don't have all those additional datetime connect and datetime termination fields added into the beginning like I did in my previous history section here, but we'll come back to that in a moment, and as well as I have other reports that have it baked in there, so we can certainly take a look at that. Now, column B here is the ring time. So once again, just the difference between datetime origination and datetime connect. So we can kind of see there's a handful of calls within this cradle to grave sequence. Calls came into a looked like an IVR handler before being presented to somebody, but we can see that the unfortunately the ring time does get compounded because, and that's not any error of ours necessarily, call manager's CDR on these complex calls, with a lot of the round robining or redirecting or transferring, a lot of these calls are actually going to still have the same datetime origination stamp from call manager. I'd say many of them will, most of them will. Some will change with the routings. For instance, we see this is 545 and 33. Both of these legs are, and then obviously there's another 49, a 49 one down here. But let's take these top three as an example. So this call was presented at 545 and 33 seconds. There was 1 second of ring time. Okay. 8 seconds of positive duration. However, on the next leg, I mean, there's 8 seconds of call duration and 1 ring second, maybe 9 seconds. But we can see here that the ring time is 39 seconds for sequence 2, even though it's not being answered. So we would compute ring time on this based off of datetime origination and datetime connect. In lieu of connect, we'll look at the datetime termination, as I'd mentioned off this example. So for instance, when datetime connect is missing, we will take the difference between origination and termination. This one example being 2 seconds. In this report here, excuse me, but we see 39 seconds here. So chances are, even though I don't have the other fields in here, that we're utilizing I wouldn't say a stale timestamp from call manager, or to say that they presented us a stale timestamp, but let's just say maybe the most not accurate for the next step in this call. I don't necessarily think 39 seconds of ring time is valid there. And if we scroll through and maybe look at some other ones, yeah, exactly, here we go. So 78 seconds of ring time after a 47 seconds of talk time. That seems a little inflated, but it's solely because we're using the arithmetic off of the datetime origination field, which is the same stamp from the initial call leg inception into call manager for this call. Okay, so these are getting compounded. I've definitely seen some that are even higher as well. Definitely on the on the ones on the single call legs, the ring time is going to be accurate. But once we start getting down in the weeds with additional routings and complexities of the routings that can take place within a call manager environment, we will see the ring times unfortunately uptick. Now let's maybe look at some examples here. Yeah, 86 seconds of ring time on a 0 duration call. That doesn't sound that accurate. Let's jump down here and take a quick peek. Yeah, 86. But as you can see here, even call that was entertained for 55 seconds, even if it's at the IVR, the two subsequent legs actually have the same exact origination stamp as well. So their date time connect is going to be certainly different, but it's going to be a wider gap. So that's definitely why these are getting compounded. And then the reports or any dashboard widgets that are kind of looking to service those SLAs or KPIs for calls answered in under 15, 30 seconds, something along those lines, are not as accurate as they should be. So thusly why we're coming out with the new computed ring time. All right, let me show a case another example here. Oh, here's another good one. Call sequence 8 here. 131 seconds of ring time after maybe a 2-minute handled call. So you can see here 125 and 44 seconds. This row has the same timestamp as well. So its ring time is being derived off of the first initial origination leg anyways, which is not truly accurate. So what we have done is we're coming out with a computed ring time in Verify 13.0. That's where this new logic is going to come in here. So take your eyes over here real briefly, if you wouldn't mind. The arithmetic here, now what we're going to do for computer ring time is going to be date time origination. Excuse me, I take that back. It's going to be the date time connect. Let's read my own script here. The date time connect from the current leg in a cradle to grave sequence minus the previous leg's date time termination. So that way we can more accurately read those. And just as an example here, I think I have some data here for us. We're going to revisit this in a moment. So once again, we will be looking, I suppose pretend these are actually cradle to grave sequences, the second and third legs. We will be deriving computer ring time off of the date time connect on the current record minus its previous legs termination record, so that we can take the difference between those and not lean on the replicated origination timestamp given to us by Call Manager for these complex sequences. All right, so prime example here, let's pick on this report here. Let me zoom in for everyone's eyes just a tad. Okay, there we are. Okay, so I baked these columns back in here. So once again, the date, time, connect, and termination are going to be paramount here for us. Let me find some cradle to grave legs. Let's jump on down here. Maybe not the best one. Let's go look at something more complex. Oh, here's a good one. Okay, so once again, the computer ring time, since I have the alpha release, these are going to be 0, but certainly just kind of humor me for a little bit, if you will, and just kind of try and drive this home for us. So once again, date time origination on this sequence here. So we see both of these legs, even though it came into a Unity handler and then routed over to a hunt group. We can see the call was presented at 7:44 and 41 seconds. We see connected at the same time. Okay, thusly no ring time. Makes sense there. 25 seconds of talk time, or at least handlement, let's say, within the Unity handler. And then the next record before being routed down to this hunt group here, we can see once again the same origination timestamp, but for the computed ring time in Verify 13, we're going to take the difference between the current legs date time connect from its previous legs date time termination. So in other words, 7:45, 06, and 10, this is going to be 4 seconds of computed ring time, which is certainly more accurate than the 29 that we see here, just with the the derivation between origination and connect on these two. So that's definitely not the best way to do that for the complex legs as we kind of mosey along here. So this should really be 4 seconds of computer ring time and not this 29. So certainly the computer ring time can definitely be in addition to ring time, or it can replace it in lieu of ring time. It'll be a more polished ring time. And once again, if it's single leg entities, I mean, the ring time and the computer ring times are going to match. Okay. So I would think one of my best examples may be to actually take a look at this Excel report I have here. I did kind of mock this up as well. So let me just scroll on down the page here. I think sequence 7 is a good one for myself. Okay, well, here's a good one. We'll get to 7, but here's another one. So date time origination on this 2-leg cradle to grave sequence here. We can see there is no date time connect actually on the second leg here. So we will, well, by default or by inception, we are taking the derivation between this date time origination and this termination. Well, it's actually 3 seconds. However, the new logic, what we're going to do, once again, is going to take date time. Well, let me pull this back up to the forefront. For the ones that are missing a date time connect, we will take the previous leg's date time origination minus the date time termination on both legs, the difference between the two. So the daytime termination from this would be 6:50 and 16 seconds. From 6:50 and 14 seconds, the computed ring time on this one will be 2 seconds. So that will be cleaned up. But certainly if there's a lot of ones that are matching, a lot of times, computed and regular ring time and computer ring time will match. Now I've got a good one here in sequence 7. Prime example here of compounded ring times. So we can see all 3 of these calls that came in from this caller here to this environment, 6, 11, and 18 seconds on April 19th here. All 3 of these legs get the same stamp, but they all have different daytime connects and probably different daytime disconnects or terminations, excuse me. So we're showcasing that this bottom leg here has 62 seconds of ring time between the origination and the connect. Well, that's not really accurate because the previous leg here ended at 6:12 and 4 seconds. So that should really be the true, I guess, excuse me, starting point for the next record's ring time, let's say. So the difference between 6:12 and 20 and 6:12:04 is going to be 16 seconds. So this is going to be a well more polished metric to use for the ring time for those SLAs and KPIs versus unfortunately the out of the box ring time, which is certainly good for all of the single leg entities, but definitely in the complexity of cradle to grave and all of the complex routings that can happen, the computer ring time is going to be a better metric for people to lean on. Okay. So this can certainly, I mean, whether this is encompassing, hunt pilots, definitely I pick on a lot of hunt groups, hunt pilots shared line, or definitely a lot of, call parks, a lot of kind of complex, routings that are happening within environments. So definitely the call park pickup, stuff like that. We definitely see inflated ring times that have been compounded by all of these, legs within the sequence, just because the daytime origination from call manager is stamped identically the same over multiple records. So this computer ring time coming out in Verify 13.0 in a handful of weeks is definitely going to take care of this for us, and I can't wait to get this out the door. This logic will also be embedded and baked into our dashboard widgets as well. So I will just kind of showcase that to you very briefly. Let me just dive on over to my dashboard here. Now, once again, I am running on an alpha release here. Let me change my resolution here. I am running on an alpha release here. So all of the computer ring times are still going to be 0, so I can hover over them, but obviously we have, the original, the ring times that we have that certainly may need to be replaced, but certainly looked at. So whether or not I'm looking at this hunt group, we'll be able to see what the computed average ring times are, either by DN, by agent ID, by description for those users, as well as for the group as a whole. Now, once again, these are zeros because this is an alpha release and the code has not finished yet, but very easy for us to go ahead and then bake these metrics additionally, into widgets as well, so that a manager can look at a dashboard that's being written to and refreshing every couple of minutes to see exactly what the ring times are on all the calls or on their grouped users or their group directory numbers or the group overall over that time frame. So very easy for us to do that. We'll also be able to kind of maybe excuse me, let me make a quick copy of this, make a kind of a KPI widget, if you will. So if we wanted to, now the field isn't here for me just yet, but if I needed to, keying off of a hunt pilot there, but if I wanted to say a hunt pilot calls answered less than 30 seconds, something along those lines. And let's actually replace the label with that as well. But what we would need to do in here is we would need to pick on computed ring time. Now it's not in here just yet, so just humor me if you will. I'll pick on ring time. So the computed ring time value, once it's here in a couple of weeks, will once again, just like all of our other kind of search criteria, we'll be able to utilize conditional operators. So we'll say less than or equal to 30 seconds. That ANDed with maybe my hunt pilot DN specifically will produce only calls that are handled within 30 seconds. And then certainly we can do the converse of that. If we're looking for calls that were answered but took longer than 30 seconds, maybe we want a 30 to 60 second kind of denotion in a secondary widget. Very easy for us to do that as well. Let's take a quick copy of this. So if I want to do calls between, I guess, yeah, answer 30 to, let's say 60 seconds. As an example. Just playing with some, the conditional operators here. So let's say, I think, do I have a between? I do not have a between, but we can say, I can actually put 2 of these in here. let's do a greater than, we'll say 29, and less than 61. See, there we go. So 350 are handled within 30 seconds, 149 are 30 to 60 seconds, let's say, out of the total 483. So there's probably a few more that obviously took a little longer to be handled, but I think you kind of get the gist of exactly the filtering capabilities of this more polished ring time that we're producing here for Verify 13.0. Now I'm just going to take our eyes then into the reports as well. Let me zoom in for your eyes. Now also, just like ring time, this new computed ring time is also going to be a searchable option. Now it's not in this build just yet, but it will be a searchable option as search criteria from a dashboard widget or from the history search. But also within the reports, let me just build or open up I guess a blank template here. Once the query is polished, also we have summarizations for the computed ring time stuff as well. So I'll just type in the word computed. Will start shrinking lists for me. So whether I'm looking at totals for originating, dialed, terminating, or combinations for computed ring time, certainly can do so. The connecteds, the not connecteds, the abandons, forwards, voicemail, all of our grouping options here for the these call scenarios. Then let's take a peek here. I also have it as an option here for data tables, so we can certainly add in total average computed ring time as well. So if we need a little period over period broken down into these data tables, we can certainly accomplish that as well. It will not be a graphic mechanism, but certainly a broken down, maybe individualized by agent computed ring time for their average ring duration. Or maybe we want to incorporate it, turn it on for the group as a whole. If we're running this over a big hunt group or a shared line appearance or some type of group that we want to gauge what the KPIs or the SLAs are being met or missed. So very easy for us to do so. We have these now, or we will have these in a few weeks once Verify 13.0 is released. All right, so yeah, definitely computed ring time. I've been clamoring for some time. I'm glad to see it's actually finally making its way into the application, and it should be excellent. Once again, it should be ready in a couple of weeks, and I can't wait to get it out the door and start showcasing it to people. So that way, when we're drilling into excuse me, complex kind of hunt group scenarios where we're seeing calls that are traversing left and right, so that we're not necessarily seeing a compounded ring time just based off of that date time origination that's coming from call manager. We're actually kind of using more, not to sound funny, but computed kind of arithmetic that's taken from these two legs individually. So we can take those and very easily kind of make this more polished and more accurate for you. I mean, and if anything, I mean, data integrity is definitely something we strive for. So definitely can't wait till it's rounded out. Jim, I'm a little light on content at the moment, my friend. Do we have any questions from the group or from the audience members?
Well, I don't think you were very light, Matt, because we have no questions. You covered it all like a champ.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
We can wait a couple seconds here. If anybody has any questions, you can throw them in the Q&A panel. But awesome job again, as always, Matt.
Oh, quite welcome. Thank you much.
All right.
All right. If there are no questions, Jim, and as always, feel free to send any questions over to support@verify.com. We'll be more than willing to assist and address those. But if there are no questions, Jim, I will stop sharing and kick it back to you, sir.
Awesome job, Matt, as always.
Thank you.
All right. I do have no more questions trickling in. Let me get my sharing going here. Q&A, nothing coming in here. So, all right, we'll move on to, I want to remind you about Planet Verify, our new online community where you can connect with your peers and expand your knowledge of all things Verify. We've been touting new drink recipes in the cantina the last few weeks, but I haven't seen too many. So I want to encourage you all to post your favorites or anything else you'd like to discuss. Hop on over to planet.verify.com or verify.com/planet and take a look around. All right, with that said, we're going to get to the winner of this week's $50 Amazon gift card, and the winner is Ray Browse. Congratulations, Ray. Your account manager will be reaching out to you shortly. All right, don't forget to join us next week where Brian and Dre will go over our report templates and demonstrate how to download and utilize them. They've been a big hit lately, so we want to make sure everyone is able to utilize those. So I do look forward to that workshop. And with that, we'll end this one. And I want to wish you all a great week and enjoy the rest of your day. See you all.
Thank you all. Take care.